Jharal, welcome, my friend.
How are you? How are you, brother? Good to
Good.
see you.
Thank you for inviting me over to your pad, bro.
No problem. No problem.
Reached out to you a while ago and just, it was the other week.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
Well,
jump on,
I
man.
actually heard you and your brother do your first one, and I thought, man, that was mad. It was really cool. So I was keen to jump on. I'm only a new podcaster myself. I'm just going to
Yeah.
start my new podcast very soon. So, yeah, really looking forward to it. I just like talking.
Yeah.
I just love talking.
You've done a bit of podcasting with the Bronx, though, eh? I've
fair.
watched a couple of those.
Yeah, fair few. I think last year we pushed about 33 out. Last year, which was pretty cool. Most players, ex-players, and then obviously started up again this year, but then that all come crashing down.
Is that doing those podcasts with Bronx? Is it sometimes a bit of a challenge to open the boys up, or they're pretty good?
No, it's more of a challenge to get them on it because their time is valuable, Brandy. They're like it's
Oh, true.
well, the boys like to act like they've got so much stuff to do, but they don't remember that I used to play footy once, and I know that we don't have anything to do. Like we come to training and then we muck around half the day, and so I try to get them between sessions, right?
Yeah.
And sometimes they whinge. You got a half 50-50 of them who like to do it and who like, but once they get on, they're fine. They're all good. They just sometimes they don't like doing things that they don't need to. Yeah.
But it's kind of avenue for them, bro. Like, it's like, bro, I'm giving you this, like, window to express yourself. I've got a question to ask you, and people are only going to love you or maybe not like you.
Well, the thing is, they realise it's like footy only lasts for most people, an average of 3 or 4 years. If you have a good career, you're going to go through the 10 to 12. But after that, man, people forget about you really quickly, and that's what they don't understand, and they'll get there and they'll figure that out. Unless you've established yourself really well. Personally, I think I've really stayed on the scene, and I've tried to do that. And I've pushed really hard to stay on the scene because once you lose your image as a footy player, you just become Jharal Yow Yeh, you know what I mean? So you just become that person. So I try to engage and be as engaging with the fans as much as possible because they're going to remember that. They're never going to remember a person who doesn't want to talk to them and stuff like that. So the boys they'll realise that one day. And when they get a bit older, I think they start to realise. And it's a learning curve. I mean, when I started playing footy, I thought it was going to be forever. I thought it was going to last forever and stuff like that. So, just things you got to learn now, and that's why I was there to help them and try and make them understand that kind of thing.
Bro, that's like, when did you start playing football? What age?
I started playing when I was 12. So not
that's pretty late, man.
yeah,
Like,
for a lot of footy players, I actually played soccer first. So I love soccer so much. I'm still a massive fan of the Premier League overseas, and I'm a bit filthy that it's not on at the moment. It's hurting because I get up in the mornings and 3 in the morning and watch it and enjoy it. So I'm a massive Arsenal fan, but I think why I started footy so late was because my mum and my auntie were soccer players, and I just wanted to follow what they did. And they were actually played for Australia and went overseas for soccer and everything like that. So, yeah, it was a very different sport to rugby league too. You have a team, but in soccer sometimes there's a lot of individuals that want to be better than their teammates. Where go to footy, man, and everyone wants to help each other to be the best. And I think that's why I enjoyed footy more, and I loved it.
Is there many Indigenous soccer players?
No, there's not a lot. So, look, I'm kicking myself because I actually went to AIS down. I went to the AIS for soccer.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I went to Canberra for soccer when I was younger, and I probably could have played a little bit more, but I just loved hitting people when I started playing footy, and you cannot do that in soccer at all. So it would have been a lot more cash too, brother. So
Yeah, far out,
money
man.
would have been really good, but nah, I don't regret anything. I'm glad I went to footy.
So 12, soccer, started playing football at 12. Did
Yep.
you have any other passions when you were a young kid?
Cricket, I played cricket a fair bit. So obviously cricket was in a different time when footy was on. So during the year, so yeah, I played so much sport. I played a little bit of baseball as well when I was younger, up at Pine Rivers, close to here where I live, and I just enjoyed. I mean, I was okay at long distance and athletics and stuff like that as well. I enjoyed high jump. And 100-metre sprinting. Probably the furthest I'd like to run is 400. I just don't like to do any more than that. But, I was pretty sporty. My family was a pretty sporty family. Sports was an out, being an Indigenous boy as well. Like, I've seen a lot of my, cousins and that go to do bad things because they didn't have things to do in their free time, you know. And I think my mum was pretty strict and made me and my brother play a lot of sports, and we were pretty lucky along that track. So I loved playing sports every weekend. I mean, if you tried to get me to play Friday, Saturday, Sunday sports now, I'd be telling no way, no way in the world, you know. But you know, it's enjoyable, and I hope one day, you know, when I bring up kids and I can show them the exact same thing that my mum taught me, and to push me into sports, because that's what we loved, and that's definitely a good pastime of mine.
For sure, bro. So take me back to your household then, the young Jharal. What was it like, the household there? Who were you like as a kid?
Yeah, I was I was a very good kid. Like, my mum didn't really, so I don't have a father. Me and my brother don't have a dad, so it's just my mum was a single mum, bringing me and him up, and she's done a great job to bring two Indigenous boys up pretty well as well. Like, I think we're pretty respectable kids. And
is your mum Indigenous?
yeah, she's Indigenous. So she's a very respectful woman. So. Very hard woman though, like, you did something wrong, yeah, you're gonna get it. So we knew not to do a lot of things wrong, and the other piece of our puzzle was probably my grandparents as well, my nan and pop, who brought us up as well. So I was a good kid, loved playing with toys, just enjoyed being outdoors as well. I still have really good memories of me and my brother making like heaps of cubby houses in the trees down the back of our house, and sometimes doing things that we weren't allowed to be doing, like using power tools and stuff like that when we were young, which was not good. Like, one of my uncle actually used to live with us when we were younger, my Uncle Pete, and he used to have a lot of dirty magazines in the toilets, and we had no clue what they were.
Yeah.
I had no clue. I was only young, so got caught looking at those a few times. I got flogged.
Got touched up.
Yeah, I got touched up by mum. So I got really quickly. But yeah, we learned really quick. We had a really close family. So a lot of cousins. I have a lot of cousins. So actually, one of my auntie and uncle used to live literally behind our house, and my other auntie and uncle used to live 2 houses up. So you know, you're on a weekend. If you're not playing sports, you're jumping the fence to go to someone's house, and obviously my mum and my aunties and that used to like to have a little bit of a charge as well.
Yeah.
So you know, music would get going, and then you'd have concerts. We'd do concerts for the adults.
Yeah.
So we'd sing. We'd sing for you know, for my auntie and uncles and my mums and and all that. So that was enjoyable, man. But it was actually weird. I only turned 30 at December last year, and Mum bought this video that I thought she'd lost, and it's me singing the Backstreet Boys with one of my other mates, and oh my lord, never again I'm getting on a camera and doing something like that, because that just brings back so many memories. But that's the type of kid I was, man. I just enjoyed hanging out with my family members, and being sporty, and never really got into trouble because I knew that. And to be honest, I wasn't really allowed to go do a lot either. Like, Mum just didn't want me to go be riding bikes all the time on the streets, and I get that now, because if I have a kid, I don't really want them, but there's sort of probably a trust factor that you gotta, you know, have with your children. But yeah, I didn't do too much. Just played footy on the side of the road as well a lot, which with my mates. So loved my childhood. It was pretty fun.
That's cool, bro. Did you ever have like thoughts about your old man?
Nah, well, actually, there was times where, you know, we thought we knew who it was. Obviously, Mum knew, but she just wanted to. She asked me, "Do you care?" And I was like, "No, not really." You know, I was 12 when she asked me this. Still not smart enough to understand. You know what. Like now, if I thought about it financially, having a father would have been so much better for my mother. She wouldn't have to work so hard all the time, and so that would have been a big factor for us, just helping out in that way. But look, she did a great job. And when she asked me when I was 12, "Do you care?" and I was like, "No, not really." I just said to her, "You're basically my father, you know, and my pop. You know, I learnt everything off him." And my mum was a pretty manly woman. Like she was very passionate about you know, me being a rough, you know, doing what all fathers would do, you know, teaching how to play footy and stuff like that. Like Mum did all that, so never really bothered me. I did have a lot. People have asked me if he had come out, you know, when I was playing footy. Has anyone come out? And I was like, no. And to me, it would probably, you know, if you asked me that question now when I was 20 and I was playing footy, I'd probably say yeah. I'd probably I'd probably want to meet him, but then I probably wouldn't pursue it anymore. You know, I'd let him say his piece, but it wouldn't bother me because if I've got 30 years of my life down the track, like it's basically half my life, man, close to half my life. If I don't have him there, then I don't need him now. I'm pretty happy, and I have a great life. I'm very content with where I've gone with my life, and where I'm going to go as well.
That's cool, bro. Level-headed. So when did you know that you were good at footy?
Ooh, I to be honest,
I was looking at when I asked you to come on, I just looked at some highlight videos, and there's one on YouTube, like I forget the song, but it's like the main one on YouTube.
Yeah,
and I looked, bro, and I was like, fuck, bro, you were a gun. And I remember, man, I think I might have been 15. I was signed at the Bronx, and I come up. Anthony Griffin was your coach. He was playing the Dogs in 20s.
Yeah.
Had a stacks team, man. Like I don't know if you might have won it. Like Alex Glenn.
That would have been what, out the grand final?
You were playing Ben Barber and like
that would have been in
Bronx.
Bro, this is how long ago. That would have been in 2008. That was in 2008, man.
Real.
That game. Yeah.
Bro, and I that was my first, because we come up and we're like, can we get in the sheds, like blah blah, being a young kid in development there. And the reason we went because Sonny Bill was playing.
Yeah. Okay.
So we went up. I got to come in the sheds at 20s and that. And I remember there was one, Ben Barber was carving up that game. But you scored this try, bro, in the corner. Someone kicked, and you were like in the air, dove, scored.
Yeah, Benny Hunt. I remember that actually. I don't really remember a lot of things, but when you have such a good, you have a good friendship with someone like Ben. Me and Ben were like, well, we still are like this, but it's hard to find cohesiveness in a footy team with a winger and a halfback. Do you know what I mean? That just doesn't seem right.
Yeah.
So when I found out that Ben was from Rocky, we clicked like that because my family's from Rockhampton, my family's from Emu Park, so on the coast up there of Rocky. So we just hit it off really quickly. He's a country kid. You know, we just hit it off, man. And those types of moments just seemed really easy for me and Ben. Because I would look at him for a split second and he would know exactly what I'm thinking. So that moment, I do remember that. It was right in the right-hand corner.
Yeah.
He's kicked it straight across field, and
you like mid-air, like caught it. I was like, whoa.
Yeah, it was a dive, but he just trusted me. So he just put his kicks where he wanted them. And he just trusted me to get there, I suppose. And look, if I didn't catch a lot of them, I said to him now, I said, you'd look like a real bum, wouldn't you? Because there was some there, the kicks there, that were like probably just a little bit too far. But I don't know how I got there half the time. But I enjoyed, man. And that question you go back to, I didn't know I was a good footy player, and probably until I started playing first grade regularly and consistently. Because for me, not scoring a freakish try made me a good footy player. I wanted to be a good footy player every game. And that's when I started to know that I was good, because a lot of people would tell me that you're not a good footy player unless you can do it week on. And that's what I really pride myself on. And you can ask any footy player these days, that's what they want to do. They don't have to do the freaky stuff every game, but if they're playing consistent and they're doing what the team wants and they're not doing the wrong thing, then that's when you become a good footy player. I mean, I know a lot of footy players I've played with who people don't recognise, but you go, man, he was a very good footy player because he just did the small little things. Like Alex Glenn, for instance, man, his whole career he's been Mr. Consistent. Like it's a very rare day he has one off, and that's the reason why he's where he is now, and the reason why he's still at the Broncos, man. But to go back to your question, I reckon it would have been in 2010 is when I really knew that, man, I'm doing pretty well here. And it was probably the try I scored against Jonathan Thurston and the Cowboys. That just, my confidence just went bang. I just knew.
Is that the full field?
Yeah. I just knew after that moment, I just knew when people like Carmichael Hunt and Hodjo are blowing smoke up your ass, when you're doing something right. Because Hodjo hates to give out compliments. It's like I'm telling you, it's a once in a blue moon. So when he was giving out compliments, I knew I was doing something right. And Lockie, because he didn't talk a lot, but he was giving you compliments. You knew then. So yeah, that's, I just like playing footy, man. I just didn't. I see a lot of people these days, I think, want to do it for this, for the cash. I don't think that's always their their prerogative, but once they get the money, it just goes all smooth sailing for
Yeah,
them.
yeah.
Where when I got my money, I think it was just like, it's not enough. Like I just want to keep going. It wasn't even about the money. It was about the statistics and the stats that I had. And, I wanted to, it annoys me a little bit because I reckon I could have gone way further than I should have. Yeah.
Oh, bro, when I first seen you like playing and stuff, like not blowing gas, but I was like, he's got like you had like swagger about yourself. You could play footy, you were athletic, blah blah blah, and it's like this guy's like a gun. Like you'd always pick Jharal Yow Yeh like as a winger in your footy team when you're playing out the back footy and stuff like that. You know what I mean?
That's cool.
Was your first grade career up and down? Like I don't know much about it.
Yeah,
But, like I didn't like keep stats on you and that. But were you up and down a little bit?
Firstly, when I started, definitely my first year in 2009, I slept on the scene pretty hot as a young kid. I was 19, and the other thing is it was pretty hard to be shit in the team that I was in. My right side was Darren Lockyer, Sam Thaiday, Justin Hodges, and myself, and my fullback was Carmichael Hunt.
Oh, true.
Yeah, bro. So it was pretty hard for me to be shit.
Yeah.
And that's the other thing. Like, I do love when people give me compliments, but I still remember, like, I was on the star side of back line. I'm not just talking about for the Broncos. Like, that was my Queensland side. That was my Australian side. So that right side was a Broncos side. So, yeah, it was pretty easy for me to stay cohesive with my mates that I played with. But I think 2009 was a real kick up the bum for me because I got dropped mid-year and went back to North. And don't get me wrong, when I got dropped, I was upset. But man, I went back to the club that I started at. So I was like, this is gold.
Knew everybody.
I knew everyone.
Yeah.
So I was comfortable there, and there was no pressure there because I didn't have pressure when I played at North, just because I just played footy because I just love playing for North, and they're the club that gave me the start. They're the club, and so I just knew that
That's when
I
you
went.
play good footy.
Yeah,
too,
man, and I just knew I went back there and had mates who I played footy with and Colts, and it all come up, and I'm like, man, this is just like it sounds really arrogant, but it felt like playing backyard footy because going from that level going to this level, it just felt a lot easier. And until you make that step, until people make that step, they won't understand. But then you go to the next level, and that level's easy, and you go the one at the top of that, and then that level's easy, and then that one's easy. So, yeah, I went back to North, and that 2009 year was probably one of my shittest years because I just wasn't consistent, and that's when I knew in 2009 pre-season to 2010 season, I got a bit of a kick up the arse, and I played the whole finals that year, but I got a kick up the arse to say, look, we know you can play footy, Jharal, but we need you to play good every week. And I think that's when I prided myself on having a big pre-season. And from there, man, I just didn't look back. 2010, I was 18th man for Origin, and I was 20 years old. So that was pretty freaky. And then the year after, I played for Australia before I played Origin, and then I played Origin. And then once you get in those teams, it's harder to get out of them because you become so.
That's your spot.
Yeah, man. You don't want anyone to leave, and that's the thing. It's crazy because you go to training and there's no one actually competing for that position in the squad like in an Aussie squad because you've only got a small squad, right? But you go back every week and you're watching other people play because you're like, okay, they're coming for it. But yeah, I was pretty confident that I was going to be the Queensland and Australian winger for many years to come. But there was times where I was also thinking, it'll probably get taken off me a few times, but because it happens, it happens to people. But I didn't want that to happen. So
it's a coach, man. Like, for instance, if I'm the coach and you're my winger, you might come say hello to me every day, and I'm like, that Jharal, man, he's a good kid. You might have someone else who's better than you, doesn't say hello like one day or something. That's my whole perspective. I'm going to choose you. You know,
yeah, definitely.
Doesn't matter how good he's. Well, to a degree, doesn't matter how good. You know.
Well,
what
you
I mean?
can be arrogant sometimes and be that person. I mean, I've seen GI. I've been in camps with him, just not train at all, and then he just goes out and just flicks a switch, man. And I'm just like, okay, well, that's when you know you're good.
Yeah.
Like because people were there was times where people were whinging about GI and Hodge, and saying they don't do anything, and then they didn't care because all they did was like, well, you run me down to the lowest, like. Because all I've got to go up is now. I'm going to go up now.
It only matters on the Saturday, Sunday. You know
exactly.
What I mean?
The Wednesday when you're playing Origin, the Saturday when you're playing a test, like they don't care.
No.
Because they couldn't care less what anyone says. They grew up playing footy. They didn't grow up training and going, all right, I'm going to that's just the type of guys they were.
But then you got the Alex Glentz who's like, okay, or I don't know if this is, but me as well, I need to tick all these boxes during the week so I can have a good game.
100%, 100%, bro. And that's what I became, because I knew that I wasn't going to get away on my talent all the time, because I know I didn't play consistent. But those boys got to they got to a stage in their lives where they just knew they were the business, and it was so hard to get it out of their head, man. That's why they come across really arrogant.
It's confidence.
But it's confidence, man. It's not arrogance in footy, man. It's confidence. And you've got to be confident not just on the field. You've got to be confident off the field as well. So they knew their bodies. They knew that if they didn't have to do this and that, they were going to be right for the game. And, the last 10 years, for me, they would be the top four of the best centres that I ever played the game, them two. So, confidence is a big thing playing rugby league. Like, if I knew I went out on the other side and I look over and I see someone, I just feel like I knew I had my day. I was going to be on. And in my head, I'm just thinking, it's going to be a bad day for you, man. It's going to be a bad day for you. Because you just have that, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then there's other times where you're like, ooh, I feel a bit under the weather. I don't feel right. And then you just got to go, get my first touch, make it a good one. And then the rest is history. It just goes from there.
Any fear?
Oh man, yeah, shit myself. My biggest fear, I think, was letting my family down. So, not even on the field. It was more or less going out on the weekends when you were young and not stuffing up. And I think most of the times when I did go out and I'd seen trouble, I was like, oh, I was gone. Like I was like, man, I'm out, because I'm worried about my mum. I'm not worried about the police. I'm not worried about the club. Like I'm worried about me being on the back page and. My nan and pop and my mum seeing it and my brother seeing it, and then I'm thinking, I got to the top and just become a little prick,
Yeah.
I don't want to be like that, so I try to stay out of as much trouble. That was my biggest fear, but the other biggest fear I think it was nerves, was when I got the ball kicked to me in Origin, man, and that was the first set, and I picked the ball up and I thought, man, this is my first run for Origin, and I thought, who am I going to run at? And I'm thinking maybe the littlest person, but then I thought, fuck it. If I just pick the biggest person on the field and get this over and done with.
Start you off.
It'd start me off. And if I get hurt, then that's as bad as it's going to be.
Yeah.
So I just ran straight at Paul Gallen and I was just like, this is going to hurt a lot. Got jammed. Strawberry jammed. Absolutely. Got up and played the ball. I thought, all right, that's over now. That's the first one. It's not gonna hurt. Yeah, it's not gonna hurt anymore. You know what I mean? If that's the hardest I can get hit, he's fresh.
Yeah.
He's not. If he's hitting that hard in the 80th minute, then which they did anyway because it's Origin. But they're the moments that you love though. That you love. But that was probably the biggest scariest moment I've had on the field. Yeah, definitely.
Damn. What So 2009 first grade debut. 2012.
Gone.
Finished.
Yeah, well, I didn't think I was finished then, but there was definitely a doubt in my mind when there was professionals telling me I shouldn't play footy again.
Talk me through that.
Yeah, that was a pretty shitty time. When I hurt myself in Perth, was in Perth for 3 days, in intense because I had a big hole in my ankle basically. There was and I got on a plane, came back, which I probably shouldn't have got on a flight.
So you had a compound fracture of the ankle?
Yeah, so there was I just had a big gash in my ankle basically. It was about that big across my ankle from the front of my foot to the back of my foot. And, when you fly, if you've got, the blood, it thins out your blood, flying and stuff like that. So the blood was just obviously wrapped up really tight and my foot was just bang, bang, bang.
Throbbing.
And I couldn't take any drugs on the plane because I was already feeling sick, and then the air sickness, so taking, anything, morphine or endone or anything like that to dull my pain down. So it was 5.5 hours of just excruciating pain on the flight, on the way home. But got out and then got back to the hospital, and the next day they looked at my ankle, and the doctor was just like, holy shit, we need to rush you into an emergency operation tomorrow.
Did they do anything in Perth to the ankle?
Cleaned it out 4 or 5 times.
Also had little surgeries there.
Little surgeries there, yeah, just to keep it clean because obviously when I broke it, it opened up. So if there was any grass in there, it could have got infected really easy. But then, when they opened my ankle, I think I got a picture of it actually. When they opened my ankle, he just looked at it and was just like, holy shit. So yeah, it was basically dead. All my skin was dead. and it was yeah. So that was the first time you open it, and yeah, it was just completely, that's black, so it's, yeah, you've got like gangrene basically.
Really?
Yeah, pretty much. So it was either two options, and that's do this operation that puts a flap, basically skin graft, so it takes skin off my thigh and put it on my ankle, or if that doesn't come, you could lose your foot if this. Yeah, basically that was the conversation I had, and I was like, yeah, well, sweet, let's do this operation. Little did I know, I didn't know cosmetically what it was going to look like. I just knew that he was going to put some of my thigh onto my ankle and make sure there was no hole there anymore, so no infections could get in there. And then I think it was like 9 weeks I was in the hospital for. 3 of those weeks I was in infection ward, so I couldn't leave my room for
In
3
a
weeks.
bed, bro.
In a bed for 3 weeks.
Didn't get up?
Couldn't. Well, the only time I got up was towards the end to go to the toilets because I had a catheter and I was shitting in the bed. And like, bro, it was full on.
Bro, you've just gone from on the wing, like
Yeah, man.
jumping for high balls, like running around at training, to now
just
laying in bed.
Yeah,
like,
and I was in that room for 3 weeks, and I still remembered it like it was yesterday. The day they told me that I could go outside and get some fresh air. My mate came home from England, Cam, and he'd just got back. He'd been over there the whole time, so I hadn't seen him. But he'd come back, and the day he got back, they told me I could go out. So I was like, perfect. You can wheel me out to the area. But when I went to take me out, I couldn't leave. I said, no, I can't go. It was weird. Like, I got goosebumps talking about it because I was like, no, I can't go out. So it took me a good couple of hours to build up my courage to go outside my room.
what were you scared of?
I don't know, but I feel like it's exactly what happened to people in jail when they don't want to go outside into the real world. But I was so scared to leave that room because I didn't know the certainty of any of what was going to happen to me.
Did you feel alone at those times?
Oh, no. There was times I was on, and I was taking a lot of prescription drugs, man, in that hospital. I was taking so much morphine because I was in pain so much. I was seeing, like, there was balloons in my rooms, and I was seeing people in the middle of the night. I thought people were watching me in the middle of the night and shit. And it was like, it was a good, decent sized room. Like, I had private health, so it was probably, the room we're in now is probably hard. It was probably like to there, like that. And compared to normal people rooms in hospitals, I was pretty lucky. So, and yeah, I mean, that was the weirdest. That was weird, man. That was really odd that happened to me, but I still remember it. I think I was like really, I was scared to go out. So that got me a little bit. But after those 3 weeks, and after I started to being able to go outside regularly, I got my confidence back a little bit. And then I think it was about the 5th week, the hospital let me go to training. Like, so they put me in an ambulance and they drove me to training to watch the boys train. And I was like, that was pretty cool. But I was only allowed to go for like 45 minutes, and then I had to come back just in case anything happened, like infection reasons for my ankle. So, but after 9 weeks, they finally let me out. I went home, and I bought my dog, actually, my golden retriever. I bought her the day I got out of hospital. So Bam Bam was
companion, man.
Yeah, so I needed her. Like, she slept with me, shit in my bed all the time. But she's been through hell and back with me, so I needed someone like that. But I was living with my mates at the time as well. But I still couldn't leave my house too much because, I couldn't move my foot a lot. I had an X-Fix on, which is like, it's because they couldn't fix my bones straight away. So my bones have been broken for 9 weeks because the reason why they couldn't fix it is because they couldn't move my ankle. And basically the ankle flap, or whatever they call it, a flap, you need where I broke my bone, they needed to ply my feet back together to push the bone into place, but they couldn't put pressure on my ankle. So it was such a weird moment.
Did they fuck it up?
Oh, I wouldn't say no, they did the best thing they possibly could.
Did they?
Yeah, like they couldn't have done anything better, and I've asked a lot of questions about that. Cosmetically now, obviously, I've got to wear this brace every day for the rest of my life, really, apart from when I get in the shower, because if I cut it, it's not from that area, from my foot, so it could get infected really easily. So when I go to the beach, it sucks because I really enjoy walking in the sand with my normal feet, but I got reefers now, bro. I got to wear reefers
Really?
to the beach. Yeah. So, which is pretty crazy, but look, I'm not going to whinge about it. I mean, there's other people who are way worse off. So I've gotten older, and I see things differently.
Yeah.
I visualize these things differently, and I I don't want to complain because that's
No.
not who I've become. It'd be a different story if I didn't have a foot, then I'd probably, it'd be a different story. So, yeah, just
Who knows? Yeah.
yeah. I mean, I could be worse, but I could be in a, look at poor Alex. I just can't even imagine how he felt when that happened to him. So for me to whinge about something so small to me, then who does that make me as a person? So
Yeah, everyone has their own battles and stuff, man. But you've had a pretty big battle, I'd say. But how's that that feeling of like you're injured, and then you see the boys and they're training and they're like, "What's up, man? How you going? Like you're good, blah blah." But then that feeling of when everyone's not there, and then you just like,
oh well,
like it's gonna come in your head. Do people actually care, or like, what am I here by my, like, you know what I mean?
Oh, I don't think I was ever by myself. I have a very good group of people around me.
True,
and
yeah.
I did that. Well, you get to pick your friends. You know what I mean? I get to pick my friends. No one picks my friends for me.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm very confident that I've picked the best people that are in my
That's
life
solid,
right
yeah.
now because I'd be nowhere without my mates, definitely, and my family. Like, and I'd be, to be honest, I probably wouldn't even be here because there was a time where I went through really, when I was hurt, where I thought I thought I was going to do stuff to myself because I thought this is it, my life is over, but it's not. Like it was only just getting started.
So you did have a dark place.
Oh, bro, I think the time where I lived by myself. So I did have an ex-partner and she left me. In these times, which was pretty shit, but I had my little brother lived with me, and it was the best thing that I ever had because we spoke about it before this podcast. He never really spoke a lot, but those moments when I was low, he became himself. Like he became a man. Like he started to look after me. He's, asking me questions like, "Are you okay?" And I never would have thought that he'd be that person because he's just really quiet. He was really quiet, but yeah, kudos to him. But I still remember there was one day where I was living next to my neighbours. Were really good people where I used to live. They still are good people. But yeah, they. I still remember like it was yesterday, man. I was on the ground in my lounge and I was just like, "This is it. Like I'm something's gonna happen. Like I'm gonna do something. Like I'm gonna do something to myself."
What were you thinking about?
Oh, but I was thinking about bad shit. Like I was thinking about probably taking my own life, like 100%. But my neighbour, I called her instantly, and I knew that they went. I used to go to church with them sometimes, and she come over and she called the pastor to the house, and he didn't even preach. It wasn't even about preaching. He was just telling me that, you are loved, Jharal. You're meant to be here. You're not. This is not just your life. So, I think that moment in my life where I was like, fuck, this could be it But I think the other thing is, I think I felt a bit more. I had a lot of courage to tell somebody, and a lot of people don't. And I know that because I've had mates who have taken their lives. So that was my first step. And from then on, I think I just kept going up and up and up. So sometimes you have to be at the lowest of your lows to realise who you are as a person and to really find yourself. Not for everyone, but for me, that's where I sort of become a different person, definitely. Yeah.
Do you think did the prescription drugs like have an effect on
Oh,
you?
most definitely. I had to go cold turkey, man. Like I couldn't do anything anymore. So, but the pain was still so severe for me.
Like, get this right. You have to take the prescription drugs because the pain was just unbearable?
Yeah, like it was more of a sense when I was laying down and getting up to a prone position, the blood would rush straight to my foot and it would hurt so much. And it still does. Like it still does. Like if I walk on it too much, like it hurts. But I've created this pain threshold in my head now that I just know that that's it. So I rarely whinge about it. Probably to my wife, blaming my wife because I don't. It's only when I come home I'm like, my ankle's really sore today.
Best friend,
it's my best friend. I'm like, it's really sore today, and it's just it does suck. But we were talking about before. I'm riding I'm bike rider now, which is mad. Not road bikes. Everyone out there who are those drivers who don't like us on the road. I'm on the paths, man.
What got you into that?
Oh, bro, I think it was just one day I just started riding.
Well, you can't really run now, yeah?
And I used to like to run a lot. Like I just used to like go for a road run and just being. And I still can run sometimes. So I've been taking CBD oil, and for me, it's been. I've never taken anything that's like it. So it's outstanding for me. So some days I can run. So I'll go for runs probably twice a week, and it'll only be like 2.5K because by the end of it pretty ginger and pretty sore. But bike riding is, I don't feel that pressure on my ankle until I probably get home, because there's still a lot of, I don't have a lot of flexion in my ankle, but there's a lot of flexion when you're pushing on your pedals, and I don't feel that pain until I get home. So it's, I can ride a fair bit, and it makes me feel good because I got my headphones in, bro. I got my Mad Speed dealers on, and I'm cruising along this path, and it's just good when you can feel the wind in your hair again. And that's, I think, the thing I missed about just running, being able to run and stuff. So I'm enjoying that, man. I sweat a lot. I've lost a fair bit of weight too, since I was 116 kilos, man, at New Year's. So I'm down to 106 now. So I've lost 10 kilos, and that was a big thing on my ankle as well. So last year I drank a lot of alcohol, and I think that was because I missed out on a lot of my life when I was younger, when I was a kid.
Yeah.
And I didn't get to do all the fun things with my mates and go out and, go on benders last year. And that's what I did. But I realised pretty quickly that I can't do that anymore. I'm old, man. And like I said, I had a drink on the weekend. It was terrible. I felt terrible from it.
After,
it felt terrible after. So, I'm 30, and it feels like I'm old, but I'm not. I'm only just getting used to how my body is and how my life works. So hopefully the next 30 years, I start to figure out a bit more about myself. But yeah, I'm enjoying riding at the moment, loving it.
Hell yeah, bro. And what's the CBD?
CBD, it's a lure, man. So it's I get it from overseas, and it's outstanding. So I take about 10 or between 5 and 10 drops in the morning and 5 to 10 at night, and it just helps my not only thinking in my brain, but I think it's like an anti-inflammatory for my ankle as well. So it makes my ankle. I know when my ankle's bad, man, because I'll get in I will get up first thing out of bed and I'll go, oh, it's going to be a bad day. Or if it's raining and I can't see outside, I'll know it's rainy because my ankle will be sore in the morning.
True.
Yeah, bro, straight away. So if I don't have to get out of bed and I'm just like, it's definitely raining today.
Because of the cold temperature?
Yeah. It's definitely raining today, and I'll get up and it's storming, like clouds. It's crazy. So, riding's been really good for my mental space as well, just getting free again. And don't get me wrong, man, I battle. Like, I'm struggling when I'm riding, but I like to push myself. Like, you're an athlete as well. I like to push my body. And unfortunately, for the last 4 or 5 years, it's hard to been finding something that I could push my body with, and riding's been a bit better now. And I didn't get to ride today, which I was a bit filthy about. But
sorry, bro.
No, that's not your fault. My wife. I blame it on her. Hopefully she doesn't listen.
So who got you onto the CBD then?
So my mate Cam, actually. It's funny. I've brought his name up a few times, but he's been my best friend since grade 1. So I don't know.
Grade 1.
I don't know many people who have the friends that's been since grade 1. So I went to school just down the road here at Grovely State School, and he went to the same school as me, and we've been best friends since then. He went to another school, went to Brisbane Grammar in the city, and I went to Ferny Grove, but we stayed in contact, and we played footy together all our lives basically. And he got me onto it. I reckon about 4 or 5 months ago now, and it's been great.
You can fully so you were saying you can fully inflammation in your ankles.
Oh,
is that good?
Yeah, definitely, man, definitely. If I miss a day, definitely feel it too. And that's the other thing, is being consistent with it. And I think alcohol's not a good thing, but I like having a beer with my mates, and that's just who I am. So, but alcohol, I definitely know my body now, man. It's just my body I just creak everywhere. I'm not even doing anything crazy when I drink. It just shows how much alcohol does to your body. You know what I mean? So, just trying to take more of, that out of my life. I mean, I don't go clubbing anymore. It's just 30, bro. I can't even remember the last time I went clubbing, to be honest. I just like to sit at home and play darts and play board games with my mates and just talk shit, really.
Bro, I've got this funny story about CBD. So I used to use CBD. Got it from markets down Byron Ways, just under the counter when it was first coming on the scene.
Yeah.
And like I was telling you before the potty, when I would take it, I wouldn't notice anything majorly, whatever. But at the end of the day, when I reflect on the day, I'm like, I've been pretty open today. I've had a real good day. Whatever. And then my uncle lives down Byron Ways, and he said he was struggling with a bit of anxiety and stuff like that. I said, you should try out CBD. Apparently it's good.
It's not. This is the broad spectrum stuff. So this is not without the THC. Correct?
Yeah, no THC.
Yeah.
I was like, you should try this, and he's like, oh. I got this Sheila that works for me, and
Yeah.
she lives in Byron because he lives in Ballina, and he said, she cuts the leaves for old mate in Byron Bay,
Oh, really?
like off ganja
Yeah,
plants.
yeah.
And he said, I'll ask her.
Yeah.
And he said, yeah, she can get it. They're brewing it up now or whatever. And I said,
Wow.
oh, can you get me some? He said, yeah, no worries. And so she gave him this big jar, and he had it. And then he sent me a photo of that. He had it the next day. He writes back. He goes, you can fucking have that shit. I'm not fucking having it. He doesn't. He like only has a couple of beers. Like hasn't done drugs in his life or whatever. And I said, what's wrong with it? And he goes, oh, I just poured it in my coffee.
Oh, how much did he have?
Yeah, that's what I said. I said, you shouldn't pour it in. You should have like a teaspoon to start. He goes, I was walking around and he goes, I thought people were calling my name.
Maybe it had THC in it.
I was looking around, then I fucking had to drive down the servo and I bought all this food, and then I fucking went back.
Definitely had THC. It was definitely full spectrum stuff.
Went back, laid on my bed, looking at the thing. I was floating. I fucking fell asleep for 4 hours. And he said, you can have it. And I said, when I got it home, like I smelled it, and it was proper, just like THC, like man. Oil, man. And that's I'm like, you're like
that's what you got to be careful of, because you can, if you do get this stuff and you don't read it properly, man, and you think, right, I'm gonna have a big day, get on the tools, get to work. Fuck that. You'll be turning around real quickly if you're on THC, man. You're turning around real fast, bro, and you're coming straight home and you are not leaving your room.
Bro, when he got it, I'm like, I got to try this. And like, I had 2 tablespoons. I'm like, I'm a bit sturdier than him, I was doing the garden, and I'm like, this doesn't do nothing. I'm like, I'm going to have another 2 tablespoons, so 4 tablespoons, yeah? Next minute, like, Mrs. is talking to me. I'm like, I'm like getting high. And then for the next like 3 hours, more.
There's no escaping that.
And I'm just like, I was living as an emotion. So I was just I wasn't me. I wasn't physically here. I was like this. I'm happy now. Like now I'm sad. Now And I was like, bro.
And that's because the other thing about like the ganja plant and marijuana, bro. I mean, it can be so potent so quickly, or it can take a long time to drip feed to your body and go through your body. So you don't know. Like I've read up a lot about this purely because of my ankle and how it can help. Medicinal person for my ankle. So because I did take so much prescription drugs, I was done with it, man. I'm so done with it, hey, because it's just not what we're supposed to put in our body.
It's natural, bro.
Exactly.
It grows from the earth,
So, you can, obviously my wife's Canadian. It's legal there at the moment. So she's telling me all of her, her family members who never used to do anything, her aunties and uncles who are doing it, who are taking CBD full spectrum or smoking marijuana, and anxiety's going. Like all these things that people have mentally in their head, it's starting to go slowly. Now, obviously we know that. There's people who are stoners.
Yeah.
And that's not what you don't want that.
You can abuse anything, man. You can
Definitely.
abuse food, you can abuse alcohol,
100%.
whatever. You can abuse all these things. But the way that they've put it in a box and said, this is really bad for you, everybody look real bad on it.
I'm not a big believer in that either. I was very skeptical probably a year and a half, 2 years ago about this stuff. And I took the leap. I was just like, I've got nothing to lose. I'm struggling to walk every day.
Yeah.
And ever since, I've told people about this. I mean, it's the best thing that ever happened to me. I mean, my wife is, but best thing that happened to me to help me heal scars mentally in my head as well, bro. Like seeing things so much clearer. Everything to do with this CBD stuff.
Just to put in perspective, like me and you were speaking before the potty about like DMT, psychedelics and stuff like that. The ganja plant is actually that same form, because I
didn't know that.
Because when I've done psychedelics before, but when I had the THC oil, it was bringing on the same effects as what I'd been through when I was on a DMT experiences, man. Because it was so profound, and I was like, and it was bringing up all these emotions, and, like it was bringing up emotions that I had been suppressed, and I was like getting real anxious about it, and because I wasn't in a setting, I couldn't deal with it, and I was like, I need to shut. Like the next day, I spoke to my brother. I'm like, man, that's fucking powerful stuff. Like
that's crazy, man.
So that's like how potent it can be.
Yeah, look, at the moment, I'm so all for this stuff.
Yeah.
Honestly, so all for it, and I don't see myself. I mean, I was pretty keen. My grandma passed away just at the end of last year, and she was a pretty big part of my life, and she struggled a lot with, her asthma and stuff like that. And I got told that this stuff could, but I just couldn't get her over the line because she was just so stuck in her ways, that she didn't, just older people, and I get it, and I didn't push her too much, but I really wanted her to try it just to see if it would help her a little bit more. Unfortunately, she went before, I got her over the line, but it's something that I'm still talking to my grandfather about, if he looks like he's 80, but he seems like he's 60, like he just looks so fit, but he also doesn't talk a lot, so I just, if he does start to feel, sick or anything like that, I highly recommend that. It's not only just for your, injuries like mine. It's for everything, man.
Yeah.
Like it's for your mental state. It's for your body in general. So
even if it's placebo, man, like if you
yeah.
have that, like it's like, oh, I'm having this. It's meant to make you feel good. Oh, I feel good.
I've had that so many times, man. I've had that so many times. Hydrolytes. Like I had a hydrolyte yesterday when I was hungover, and I was like, this will make me better. I don't even think it did anything, but in my head I was like, phew.
Go for a bike.
Yeah, I could do something. Like I could do stuff. So the placebo effect does really work.
Hell yeah! I'm trying to get mine in onto that stuff as well. She's going through a bit of stuff.
Yeah,
it's again when it's not easy accessible here and it's expensive. It's kind of hard.
Well, that's the thing. It's so expensive, man, and for some reason prescription drugs are so cheap. It just doesn't make sense to me. Doesn't make sense to me. So, and I also think I'm a big conspiracy theorist. Like I think they give us these things to, the government give us these things, these products, so that we do get sick. So the economy.
Open up a can of worms,
fella.
I'm
I know. Well, there you go. Well, we'll just talk about before we got on here the conspiracy theories. Yeah, let's not go too deep in that because they might be after us. We might say something and they'll get us. Man.
Could be. Yeah, they might shut
missing.
this podcast down. Bro, what's your after footy you started working with Bronx, doing the podcast and stuff there. You were just telling me that you now done at the Bronx for maybe a time being, or
for the time being, I don't know.
Yeah,
don't know where my life's going at the moment, and I suppose, if this would happen to me 3 or 4 years ago, I would have freaked out. But I've always lived my life in the fast lane. Like I've just gone 100 miles an hour and everything, and I think it's just time for me to just sit back and kick back a little bit and relax because I've been pretty lucky of how I've set ourselves up, me and my wife. So we're not struggling. We're just cruising, and she's a speechy. She's still working, so there's no massive rush for me to go. I need to go somewhere, but I do want to take a bit of time and worry about myself. And I'm going to start my own podcast, which I'm pretty excited about, and I'm going to start my own a couple of my own things, which I probably haven't done for a while because I've been so involved with the club that it does, I've got to put all my energy there. And if the question is where am I going next, I don't know yet, and I'm pretty content with that. I'm pretty happy with just being myself and cruising, man. I'm really enjoying my life. I don't want to run and go forward too fast because sometimes when you go too fast, you got to take, you take 4 steps forward, you got to take 3 steps back. So I'm just gonna cruise. I mean, I told you that me and my wife were supposed to go on our biggest Europe trip at the end of the year, but obviously all this this coronavirus stuff has really stopped everything. So which sucks, but that's his life. And I think when the restrictions stop a bit more, I think I might start to see a bit of. We might go and do Australia a bit more. Yeah. Because I do, when I talk to people from overseas, they go, "Oh, have you been here?" I go, "In Australia." I was like, "No, I actually haven't." Because you always want to go somewhere else where everything's in your backyard, man.
Australia's pretty nice.
It's beautiful.
Crazy that, that's same with me. It's like holiday, we'll go somewhere else. Yeah. Not over to Perth or wherever like that.
Well, and especially in a time like this, we've probably got to give back to our own country, give the money here. Because, everything's going to be so much more expensive overseas for a long time now after this economy, the economy how it is. So I'd rather be given, the money that I make here in Australia to the people of Australia and looking after our own, because I think that's the way to do it. Who would have thought as a country we would cop bloody all these fires at the end of the last year, and then this comes straight off the back of it. about it. We've handled this so well, I reckon. At first, I didn't like how the government was doing it, and I thought we weren't doing it right. But I actually, in a little way, I got to applaud them because, I mean, we've only had and when I say only, I don't say that lightly. We've only had 83 deaths in Australia compared to, people overseas. We've done a pretty good damn job, and it just shows that when Aussies get together and try and look after each other, we can actually do that for a cause. So I don't want these restrictions to go on forever because I do get bored really easy. I want to go to the beach, man. And I think because like I said, when I was a kid, I just always played by the rules. We've been doing our part, me and my missus, to not fuck it up.
Yeah,
basically.
yeah.
And I'm a big believer on that because I don't want to be the factor of like, oh, we're going to go lockdown for another 4 weeks. So, I can't wait till we open up Australia to ourselves because I don't really. It's pretty scary to have other people that have, come from countries where they're not even following rules. No. What are they going to do here in our country? You know what I mean? So, and like I said, my culture is here. I don't want this country to go under, man. I mean, my people are probably, I get nervous about, communities because they don't have much health stuff out there. So if one of those, if this virus got to a community, an Indigenous community, man, we'd have been fucked. And that's what would have scared me the most. I mean, because it is my people, and I do get scared about that kind of stuff. So we've been lucky that they just shut down the mission, a lot of the missions in Australia and stopped people from going in there. And but it's worked because we're doing a pretty good job, I think.
Yeah, for sure. I've been like not looking into it that much. I'm kind of just like, I have my own opinions on it, and I'm just like, just no real outside. I just question a lot of shit.
Oh, I definitely too. I definitely do as well. Like where it come from, how it come about, why did we get the information so late? Like a lot of that shit I'm with. I get you.
Yeah.
I get you, but the way I think of it is like, fuck, if I stress about that, I just got to worry about my own backyard as well. Just try not to stress about things that you can't control. And I could definitely see that you're like that because you're very spiritual. Like it's good, and I'm loving that part of my life as well. I never thought I'd be a spiritual person, but I'm definitely starting to lean a lot towards that in the last 2 or 3 years. I don't think a lot of people know that about me though, and I don't mean to keep it quiet. But I love, how you talk about doing your breathing before you go to bed. I love doing that stuff. I love waking up. I thought meditating 2 years ago was sitting outside and going hum. That's what I thought. That just fully meditating was, but it can be any way you want it to be. You know what I mean, and how you do it. So. Man, I'm loving that part. And when I sit out the back in the mornings, early in the mornings, and sit on that mat out there and do that and just do nothing for for a good half an hour, that's a good part of my day. And that's what I do before I go riding because it just opens up my mind and I'm clear my mind. And I'm like, let's go.
If you go through life without experiencing like things like this, tools that are like, you put them in a category, like I'm not doing that shit. That's like. Are you living, or are you trying to find a way to get better, or like just be a happier person and feel gratitude? And
I think I reckon that's where I want my life to go. Is how can I make myself happier?
And you don't have to be the dude with the big beard and fucking sit out there for 2 hours.
No way.
Like I've been through all that, and I've seen like firsthand people like that. I'm like, man, I want to be like, but no, I don't really want to be like that because I have my own identity who I am. So.
Don't take that away from yourself, either. Like that's who we are. That's who are yourself, and I think that's what it's so unique about every individual is they've got their own personality and they do things their own way. So sometimes I don't do things right, but I think that's the best part of the journey of life is when you don't do things right, you figure out that you didn't do it.
You realise you didn't do it.
Yeah,
right.
Or sometimes I go in my head, what was that? Did I do it right? Because now I know that. You know what I mean? Without going too deep, that's how I think a lot now. And I'm like, just got to take it one day at a time and, just enjoy those moments.
Yeah. And so you're starting your own potty. And that's just from Bronx, like you started the podcast.
Yeah, man.
Up there.
Look, I honestly, I think the podcast that I'm going to start is purely just going to be about having fun. Like that's who I am as a person. And that's just what I love to talk about. I enjoy talking about people's times would put smiles on their faces. It makes me happy.
Mm.
So yeah, I don't know what I'm going to call it yet. But I'm starting to set up my studio and my garage, and I'm still waiting on a few things to be delivered, which is really exciting because I'm not at work right now. So I'm just like waiting at that door, just like, come on.
You're going to have a backdrop?
Yeah, I am. I've got a few things up
It
my
looks
sleeve.
like a sick setup, bro.
I've got a few things up my sleeve that I'm going to have there. I wanted to. And my wife, she thinks I'm crazy. Some of the things I come up with, Ash is just like, you're fucking crazy. But if I don't have all these things in my mind, what am I going to do? So, yeah, I reckon I'll probably start the potty in the next couple of weeks. It's just waiting for a bit of extra gear to come, and it's more or less just going to be about, this is the funnest times that the people I get on, what are their most enjoyable times of their lives, and how is it enjoyable to them, and I hope along the way we can have a few laughs. And the other one is too, I do want to have a few beers while I'm on a podcast with my mates, because that's, for me, that's a weekend then, you know. You know, having 6 beers while I'm doing a potty and laughing about shit, man, that makes me happy, you know. 100%. Instead of having a session for hours and feeling sick the next day, that's my out. And that's my enjoyment while I'm working, you know, while they so call it working. So my goal is to
make money off it.
Well, not first. No, not first. It's probably to show people, you know, what I can actually do without a brand like the Broncos on the back of me. And yeah, I want to show people that, you know, Jharal can produce his own stuff, and, you know, as much as the club gave me all these tools, you know, I am me, and I'm going to push further in what I want to pursue in my life, and in a sort of way, I want them to miss me as well. I want to show them what they're missing.
Well, that's you got to have that. That's driving force.
Yeah, definitely.
You know what I mean?
Definitely. So whether I got, you know, whether they let me go because because of the circumstances, I still want them to go, damn, we shouldn't have done that.
Yeah.
Because I know that, you know, what I'm going to produce, and the people I know, I'm pretty lucky along my way, man. I've met some sick people, and just from my personality and being myself, they've stayed attached to me, and they've stayed in contact with me. So I got probably my first 10 people who are coming on I'm not going to reveal it, but they're grouse. Yeah. I've got a list. I've got a wall in my gaming room that I'm usually I go in there and just play PlayStation all the time, but now it's more of organising of what my life and what I'm doing in my business, in the business side of start, what I'm going to start. And I think the other thing is, you know, watching, you know, Isaac John as well, YKTR, and watching Ice do a lot of his stuff has really pushed me to want to do it as well, because he started from nowhere, man. And I've watched him grow over the last 2-3 years, bro. He's outstanding. He's a great businessman.
You know, that's the thing, man. Like I know Isaac. I don't know him personally.
Yeah.
Like know of him.
Yeah.
And I'm like, some things I agree on his stuff, and then other times I'm like, nah, not a fan of it.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, bro, I'm still clicking on his thing.
100,
Like,
bro.
you know what I mean? He's doing a good job, bro. Like,
that's the thing. He's just making content, man.
Yeah.
And it's so hard. You know, it's so easy for us to go, yeah, we're going to make content, but until you just keep going bang, 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 bang. And at first you probably think he's making too much. Well, no, he's not, because you're right. I click on everything he does. And, you know, he's got haters and he's got people that love him, but at the end of the day, there's the people that don't like him are still tuning in. And, you know, there's some things that he talks about that I don't agree with, but I still tune in.
Yeah.
He's
living, bro.
Yeah, bro.
He's living his life, and we're tuning in to watch. And that's the whole reason why I started the potty as well, for myself to open up, and then to even on my off days, like obviously there's no footy, but on the off days it's like, let's connect with people. So if they want to come on and have a chat,
100%.
And it's not for me, it's for you.
Yeah.
For people who don't know you, I don't really know you that much. Like I know of you, and it's like, now you've got another audience, and people are like, oh, Dre, he's a cool cat, man, and that's why I do it. You know, it's like, well,
the reason why I wanted to come on your one is you asked me straight away is because of the first one you and your brother made, man. That was for me. No, it was for me. It was like a lot of things you guys said on there. I was just like, man, that's everything you're saying and making sense, and it also in a way was like, oh, that brotherly love you guys have just makes me feel so much more connected, like my brother as well. So I'm like, how cool it is, and I want to be. You ever seen the movie Yes Man?
No, I keep seeing that, but I never click on it.
Yeah, it's Yes Man with Jim Carrey.
Jim Carrey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't want to say yes to everything, but I don't want to give myself an opportunity to say no to things as well. Like I want to do things. I just want to keep doing things because, like I said at the start as well, being relevant, people seeing who you are, who I am. There's so much things that people don't know about me and what type of guy. I don't think a lot of people would have known about the stuff we spoke about today. That know and knew how much spiritually how I am, and because everyone sees me just as this fun guy, right? Like, but when I come home to my own house and sometimes I just flick a switch and I'm a different person, in a good way. But I want people to, I'm more open now that I get that. And when you're a little bit younger, you don't want to let people in a lot. And I think I've had probably in my life, I've had a lot of failures for people who have been in my life that I've let in my life that I probably shouldn't have. So there's a little bit of a bridge there you want to put up and go. But as I get older, I understand how to control that now.
Yeah.
So I can let people in, just not to everything, just the stuff I want them to.
Yeah, for sure. And that's another aspect of like the whole sitting down and talking to people. You kind of find a bit more about yourself and what they're about, like what your life is about and how they, like, I can sit there all day at a coffee shop and watch people go by and like watch their movement. That's what type of person I am.
Yeah.
And then to sit down and talk to people, I just interested in like people's lives, like what's behind your front door, bro? Like, what do you do?
Yeah.
It's kind of cool because
yeah, definitely.
Yeah, you just see what your life is like, then what someone else's life is like, and it's like everyone's just different. It's like
someone can look so calm and collected, but then you ask them about their life, it could be a disaster. You know what I mean? And they might just need that. Oh, how well, what do you do? Or who are you? How are you? And man, I think I personally definitely I know that I've become so much better at that working at the Broncos because I have to talk to so many people, and at first I hated it, but now I generally love talking to people and
can't keep quiet. Eh?
Oh man, and that's the other thing about like when I go to do things like whether it's promos or anything, I can't say no to people as well. Like I just genuinely enjoy listening to people's lives and what they've done and how they've become where they are. Man, I've heard some like the Broncos people, like from Broncos fans, and I've heard some stories that have just gone. That make me just go, sometimes look in the mirror and go, you don't even understand what other people's lives are like, you know what I mean? So to hear those, it's humbling. It's very humbling and definitely having gratitude for your own life. We all have, problems in our life, but until you've talked to someone who's had more, you don't understand that. So, yeah, love talking to people, man.
Yeah.
I'll ask questions a lot of the time. The only time I think I don't like talking to people is when I've got when I'm in my own mind and I've got a drive or I'm doing something, like I just go so off track when I'm trying to talk to people, and then I go, fuck, you've got to listen to people, bro. Stop doing that. Stop doing that, because otherwise if I've got something like Ash does, she does it all the time to me. She goes, "You're not listening to anything I say," and I'm like, just because I'm like, no, I've got so much stuff in my head that I'm thinking of in my head right now. So when I do talk to people, I have to have none of that. Otherwise, that just goes, in one ear out of the other, and that's something that I've got to get better at, and I know I do. But
me too.
Yeah, definitely.
In this potty here, you've been chatting, and I'm like, okay, I need to find out what that is, like, or ask him, and then you keep talking. I'm like, in my head, what the fuck was I about to say? What was I about to say?
Exactly.
And then it comes back.
Yeah, 100%. 100%.
It's cool because I've found heaps of like my speech. I say the same words a couple of times, or a lot of the time, and stuff like that. So this is just opening my, getting better at speaking.
Your vocabulary, man.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't realise how much I started to look up words, what they meant, because I actually felt like a dumb motherfucker if I was saying the word that I sort of knew what it meant, but I didn't.
It's intriguing.
Yeah, no. Oh my gosh, but it is, and sometimes I'd use that word in an interview or something, like if I was asking a question or if someone asked me a question, I'd use it, and then I go, please don't ask me what that means, please don't ask me what that means. But I know I got it right, but that's where you just, you got to open your mind. It's like it's a book, man. You just got to read. You just got to read things, and I think that's one thing I need to get better at is I don't read enough.
Yeah,
I really want to start reading a bit more, but there's still a bit of me where I don't have a lot of an attention span.
I was Josh Bailey-Bassi, who was on last on my podcast last. He's a good friend of mine, but for me, I go in out of phases of reading, and he actually brought up a good point. He's like, if you can't read that well, like, don't get frustrated. Like, get an audiobook or YouTube or something like that. That kind of, you know,
podcasts for me, bro. Like, I love listening to podcasts because I can put my headphones on and just cruise. Like, I like to paint sometimes, and I just paint and listen to stuff, and you know,
what do you paint?
I enjoy a lot of. I like to enjoy like Indigenous art. Like, I really enjoy it. We're actually
any for sale or what?
Well, no, not really. I just give a lot away to my aunties and uncles.
Yeah,
but I think we're gonna. Me and my wife are going to do a big piece because she wants to put one up in her office for when kids come in and talk about it. So my cousin actually is a professional Indigenous artist as well. So all of her art's been all over Brisbane, all over the buses. It's all over the buses in Brisbane.
Oh, real?
Yeah, man.
I'm looking for a piece, bro.
Well, if you want to, we'll give her a plug. Her name's Casey Kuel, but it's hers is Chabu Designs.
Chabu Designs.
Yeah, so
in Brizzy.
Yeah, she's bro, she's very good. She's a very good artist. And she's been doing it for a long time. So this is most of her stuff.
Yeah, that's wicked.
So they're full murals and everything. So I'm actually asking her first for one because I haven't actually. We grew up together, like we're tied as. We're the same age. We grew up together. So I just feel I don't feel bad. I don't want to ask her for a free painting. You know what I mean? Like, it's just not. I don't like doing that because I like helping out my friends or my cousins and family and business. I know she'll give it to me for free. I know she will, but it's still a big job, man. To draw Indigenous painting. It takes a long time.
I had a good realization. I got told something by a good friend of mine. I hate people giving me stuff for free, and I'm like, if you buy me a coffee or whatever, I can't deal with that. I'm like, nah, bro, like, I'll get my own coffee. Like, I just don't I want people things. And he said one day he bought me we're going to a breathing seminar. It was like 3 hours long, and I think it was $60 or whatever. We didn't end up going, but he bought me that, and I said, nah, man, like, and he goes, brother, you really need to learn how to take gifts.
Yeah,
and
true.
I'm like, yeah, for real. Like, because you really respect when somebody gives you stuff, and you kind of need it. Somebody's doing that from their own heart to make themselves feel good as well as you.
Yeah, but you think about it though. When you give someone, doesn't it make you feel good? Exactly. So that's exactly what he's doing to you. So I totally get where he's coming from because I love giving stuff to people.
Yeah. Like,
that's probably to be honest, it's probably the biggest. I hate to say it, downfall that I've had in my life.
Got any money? No.
I got the cash now. No, but it is. It's honestly, I think, one of the biggest downfalls that I've had in my life while I played footy because I just gave everything to everyone. And when I said earlier about I need to be a bit more selfless, you know, and look after myself a bit more, I never really did that. And I think one of my attributes is I just give, and I never give anything to myself because I love the feeling of people putting it, because I never really had a lot when I was a kid. I enjoy that feeling I give to someone, then, you know, I give them something and they're like, whoa. And I'm like, that's exactly the feeling I had when I was a kid if I got something because I didn't get a lot of things.
Yeah.
It was such a great feeling. But I get it. I mean, I think it's when it's your close mates, you say it's fine, but it's when someone you haven't really connected to yet or been around too much, that's when you feel a bit awkward because you're like, when is this chance going to come again for me to give you something? Yeah. So maybe reach out to your cousin and she'll just plug you for free, bro. She probably will. She probably will. That's what I love about her because I'll ask her, but Ash has been pushing me a bit more. She's like, we need to get a painting in the house. I'm like, I said, yeah, but I need to get a painting that means something to me as well. I just don't want a piece of art that's in my house and people come and go, what is that? And I'm like, I don't know.
So, who was there? A older football player?
Yeah, Kevin, my uncle.
Uncle.
Yeah, so my grandfather's cousin, basically. So it would have been my my third cousin or second cousin.
Is Yah Yeh your mum's last name?
No, it's my grandfather's.
Oh, is it?
Yeah. So my pop is. So I don't know if a lot of people know this about me, but I'm actually Aboriginal and South Sea Islander. So Vanuatu is my other half of my family from. Yeah. So from Tanna Island, where the volcanoes are over there. That's where my grandfather. That's where my other side of my family's from.
Right, Josh Baylor Bassi.
Yeah.
He's South Sea Islander.
Yeah.
Did you hear the story?
No.
Oh, he said his relatives come over to cut sugar canes up far north.
That's exactly what my grandfather.
Really?
Did, yes. So we definitely would be related in some way, 100%. Because at first it was, they came with the Chinese. So they came with the Chinese people to cut cane farm and canes and with the South Sea Islander people. So it's pretty crazy. I seen in the locker. Isn't in the locker room? He has a. Was one of the boys have a South Sea Island flag in the North room?
Davey Fayoud.
Yeah, it's a David Food. Yeah. Well,
Bala.
yeah. So it's pretty crazy to think that, and Mal Meninga's family's from Tanner Island as well, where my family's from. So it's pretty. I didn't know that until probably a couple of years ago.
Oh, I think Bala's South Sea, or he might be.
No, he might
be Torres Strait.
Yeah, he's Torres Strait.
Yeah.
He's Torres Strait. So, I've been back there a few times, and the last time I went actually is I went to Tanner Island because Pop told me that's where our family were from, and I told them his name, and Lomas is his name, and Lomas in Vanuatu means king. So pretty crazy when I told them, and they were you had to get a translator because they don't speak English.
Yeah.
They're full laps, bro. Still live over there in their island in their huts. It's pretty cool.
Is that your son's name?
What?
Lomas.
Yeah, I don't know.
Name him?
I don't know. I mean, I actually wanted to name my son JJ Jharal Jr., but Ash won't let me.
So Yow Yeh's from South Sea.
Yeah, South Sea, man. So I've got a lot of family from Bundy, Bundaberg and stuff like that, and Rockhampton as well. So Harvey Bay as well. So we're all up the coast of Queensland basically, and there's a lot of Yow Yehs. There's still people now that I meet out, and they're like, "Well, my last name's Yow Yeh." I'm like, "No way."
Really?
Yeah, man. All the time.
What's it mean?
Happens all the time. I actually don't know. I don't know what it means, but Lomas means king, and that's my middle name. So my full name is Jharal Yow Yeh.
Lejeune.
Yeah, Lejeune. Yeah, so it's my nan liked to call it French. I don't know why she named me Lejeune. So
is your nan Indigenous?
Yeah.
And she's naming you French.
Oh man, she's crazy. She was crazy. Man. She's a crazy lady, but loved her so much. So my full name is Jharal Yow Yeh.
Lejeune.
Lejeune. Yeah. That's how she says it. So
you're part French as well, there.
Yeah. When I go there, actually Ash is French Canadian, so she speaks some French. So when we went to France 2 years ago, it was the best because she was speaking to everyone, and the French don't really like if you don't talk their language. It's not, which I totally understand because you got to have their customs if you go there and stuff like that. But it is such a hard language, man. Like all I know is Je m'appelle Jharal. You know, my name is Jharal.
Yeah.
Like and oui, yes. So people ask me questions. I know yeah. That's all I knew. So no, but going back to that side of my family, that being over there and seeing that country, it's such a beautiful place, Vanuatu, man. Like I'd easily, if I could get a job there, man, I'd probably move there. It's such a beautiful place.
They're fair dark skin, hey?
Yeah, man. Yeah.
You're pretty light skinned.
Yeah, well, obviously, I think my father was light skinned. I think he was. So I don't ask my mum about that, but and me and my brother had different fathers. So my brother is so white, man. But when he opens his mouth, he's black. He is like I look like my mother, and my brother acts spit out my mum's mouth. He's exactly like my mum. Like has a temper. Like
don't say too much.
Nah,
I'm joking.
Like if there's an argument, or if something like if someone needs to say something, like I won't say anything. If something happens, I'm like, nah, I'm good. I'm just gonna walk away. Where my brother will be like the first one to say something. He'd be like, no, fuck this, I'm saying something. It's like, no, that's not saying it. Like especially when he got older and was coming out with me when I was, and people were rude because there's a lot of those people. Let them be like that. But my brother did not like it at all, and he was like, no, I'm saying something. I was like, no, because then you create a problem for me. Because you're not doing, it's me getting in trouble. He's like, but I want to say something to him. He's an asshole. I'm like, yeah, well, that's what you got to figure out. You just got to walk away, man. Just, and he's gotten better at that now. Yeah, but he was a little prick when he was younger, man. But yeah, that side of my family I don't know heaps about. I know more about my Indigenous side, but very proud that I'm South Sea Islander and from
Yeah.
Vanuatu, man. I mean, I don't think, to be honest, I think this is probably the first time I've said it told anyone. Not because I'm trying to hide it or anything. And, just we just don't speak about it a lot in my family. But when I go up north, man, and see my family in Rocky, you can definitely tell they're all South Sea Islanders. Like, it's mad.
Yeah.
Like, we're up there and we're eating, proper traditional food. And, yeah, I think that's probably where I got a bit large when I was eating a lot of traditional foods. Probably can't say something because some people don't like, some of the stuff we eat, which is traditional.
Dugong? No, that's...
Yeah.
Is it dugong?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And some other turtle and stuff like that. But
Do you know how they catch dugong? I
I
don't. I'm asking you.
No, I know how the turtle is caught.
Spear, isn't it?
Yeah, well, you can do it a few ways, but it's pretty.
It's a bit full on, eh?
Yeah, it's very full on. Yeah, but it's that's our
That's
life.
culture. Yeah,
It's our culture, and you won't find me going to do it.
No.
You'll find me eating it.
Yeah.
Definitely, bro. Like, I love it. It's delicious, but it's a very fatty turtle.
Yeah.
Dugong's very lean. It's a bit leaner meat, so
Yeah.
it's not as fatty. So you could eat as much dugong. Dugong's like steak, really.
Yeah.
It's not bad, but when you have a fry, like a proper turtle stew, just fat through it everywhere.
Like pork belly type or what?
Yeah, but it's really rubbery and it's just like you have it with rice. Oh, my mouth's full. You have it with rice and salt and pepper and soy sauce. You put soy sauce on it. Oh man,
Good.
It's delicious. But it obviously doesn't. In Australia, it doesn't really. I don't think there's much here anymore because they've really cut it down. Only traditional owners can do it. So, I think obviously it still happens up in the Bardu Islands and Torres Strait and stuff like that. And that's just I don't think I've eaten turtle in like probably a year and a half, which I really miss it. It's delicious, man. It's really good. But any food that that's from the from the ground here in the water that we get is delicious. And I take every opportunity to get it.
For sure, bro. Well, man, that's been an hour and 15, but I'm just going to ask you one more question. It's kind of tough, but and you've already kind of spoke on it, you kind of don't want to go too fast, you said you kind of just live in how you are, but 5 years, bro, like 5 years is quite a long time.
Mm-hmm.
But where do you want to see yourself in 5 years, man? Like, I'm asking you this question because you've just seen you as a gun footy player and then having it crash down and then build yourself back up. Like, what is your aspirations like just in 5 years, man?
Oh, well, one of my big aspirations, and it's only sort of just become on in the last 2 or 3 years, is to definitely coach. I like you obviously see me at North, and I didn't think I would ever like it, but bro, I honestly enjoy it so much. I don't like the confrontational part of coaching where you have to have tough talks with players and stuff like that. But I love changing lives, and I think that's definitely an aspiration of mine is to. And I still love challenging myself. So man, I want to be at the top. I want to be. My goal is to coach the Broncos one day. And that's a big goal. That's a humongous goal, man. But I'm 30 years old. I've already done a fair bit in my life. If you look at people like, Anthony Seabolt, who at the moment sort of for me a bit of a role model of how he's a very young coach at probably the biggest club in the NRL. I just see myself, and I know he's got a lot of accreditation and schooling and everything like that. But sometimes I sit back and go, man, a lot of people wrote me off to do something in my life, and that was to be a first grader, and that was to to even make it up there. And statistically, for me as an Indigenous boy, just to even do that or make anything of myself, that for me is a huge, like for me to be here and now living in a great home and having a great wife, that's successful to me. So yeah, I can definitely see myself coaching at a high level in 5 years, because I'm stubborn and I don't like to take a step, step backwards. I just want to go. I do want to go forward, but I do want to take slow steps. That's definitely one of my aspirations. Probably another one is just to be a really good father, because I never had a father figure in my life, and successful. People think of their careers when they also think successful, but that's huge for me. And that's why I've always wanted to have a child, because I don't want to ever let them down like the person let me down. So I think that's that. It's probably in this isolation stuff we've probably tried a fair bit. Me and my missus, so it might come. It never might come in 5 years. In the next couple of months next year. So that's what I want. That's how I see my life successful. But aspirations as a career wise, and I want to coach, and whether that is in 5 years that I'm still at Norse and coaching, man, that's still. I'll still see that as just being successful.
Could you imagine a coach that runs their own podcast?
It'd be pretty cool. It would be pretty cool. But to be honest, man, we're living in the 2020, bro. Like, I've seen stuff change so quickly, and I can see it going way further in the next 5 years, man. So this stuff is going to be so normal. You look at like American sport, bro. They are like 20 years in front of us as rugby league, and as much as we want to be like them, we say we want to be. Except I've been in this business, bro, of this at the top at rugby league. It's so hard for people to change. They don't like it. And I've had so many times where, we almost have breakthroughs with coaching staff and stuff about doing stuff, and then it just goes nut. Because it's a trust factor, right? They don't want people too close to their group because that's their baby.
Next on the line. Yeah,
man. Yeah, but look, if you can't trust people, at that level, then how are you ever going to get to, like, I'm a Atlanta Falcons fan, so how are you going to be like them? How are you going to be like a LA Lakers team? You're not. And you see kids get so confident every year. They just get more confident and confident. I want to see that. I want to see it because it shows how good and far athletes have come. So another one would probably just be, have my same job and be a content creator for a high level club, and if I was going to go anywhere to the highest, to be a content creator, definitely be Arsenal. Like I'd want to go to the top. Like that's been a goal of mine since I stopped playing footy.
That's a big goal, bro.
Yeah, 100. Yeah, well,
that's solid.
I look at it like this, man. If I want to be an astronaut and if I fall short and I become a pilot, man, that's pretty fucking good. So I've always just got to go reach for the stars, and there's probably times I'm definitely going to fail, but how we know how good is it going to feel? How do we know if it feels good if we never fail, in our lives? So I failed so many times in my life, so it felt so much better when I got to the top. So, yeah, there's going to be this is a hurdle right now. Like, this moment in my life, I've been at the club since I was 17, so at the moment I'm a little bit lost, but I'm okay to be lost because I could be somewhere, I could have no home, bro. I could be homeless. I could be, so we've got to. Yeah, I'll go slow. So the next 5 years will be slow, but once I get to the top, I'll go faster.
Bro, you may be like a little bit lost, but you sound fucking clear to me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. I'm just determined, bro. I also don't like to be told that I can't do something, but I also do like to be told that I can't do something because it pushes me. And that's and anything in life. So the more people doubt me, the better I'll get, I reckon. So. And the thing is, there's not too many doubters in Jharal Yow Yeh's world right now because I've picked the people I'm close with, which is a good thing. But I still need that outside noise to tell me that you're not going to get there because I love it. Because why do we play sports? Why do we do anything like that? Because people tell you that you're not going to do it all the time. I love when people tell me I can't do something. I love when my wife says, we've got 10 minutes, you've got to do the kitchen, you've got to mop. And I'm like, she's like, you won't make it. I'm like, yes, I will. Watch this. Just little things like that.
She's super competitive, bro.
Oh, 100%. I hate losing, man. I hate losing. Right now, I love FIFA, bro. I'm a massive, I'm a bit of a nerd. Like, I love playing. So I wake up in the morning. My whole routine is set out my whole day. So if I go for my bike ride, I knew you were coming today, so that's why I cooked lunch for my missus early and cooked lunch for me early, so I won't eat for a little bit. But I have a hour and a half where I'll play the PlayStation, where I play online, and I know I'm really good at FIFA. Like, I love it. Like,
what is it? What's it called, bro? PSN or something? You can't.
Oh no, yeah, no. You're talking about FIFA. You're playing online, so you're playing people around the world.
I'm not a gamer, but. Isn't there like a code or something you give out, like "come verse me, bro" or something like that?
Oh yeah. It's well, you can send invitations, to people.
Yeah.
You can send invitations to people, but I'm playing online, so I'm playing people around the world.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So I know there's someone at Norse who's very good at FIFA.
No, isn't Herbie Farnworth or something?
Oh, I'll dust him. No, he was good at soccer in real life. He was at Manchester United, I'm pretty sure.
Shout out Herbie.
Yeah, Herbie. Well done, son. No, but there's someone who's good at FIFA at North, and I'm going to figure it out. I think Mearsy put it up the other day. I can't remember who it was. But
Yeah, just put a message out.
yeah.
Who wants some?
Who wants some? Come and get it. Because I'm in League 1 at the moment, so you've got like 10 leagues, and you've got to go all the way to the top. But if you fail out of that league, you go back to League 2. So it's like playing Cup and then playing first grade.
Can you make money off that?
Yeah, so I've just started my Twitch account, actually, but I haven't really streamed too much yet, but I'm going to start streaming my games.
Is Twitch where you stream your game, then you upload to YouTube or whatever?
No, Twitch is live, bro. So Twitch is, I've got the camera on my face, and behind me is the game happening so that people can watch me play. Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah, so I can make money off if I have enough subscribers. I mean, that'd be pretty cool, but I don't know what I'd become as a person if I did that.
You
my
want to be
whole life.
indoors all day?
Nah, man, I can't. That's why, especially in this time, I've only given myself an hour and a half a day just to play. And I don't like to play at like night time too much because I can't sleep.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't sleep too much. Yeah, I'm too wired. So yeah, I pick my time right. So I've already set the game up, so it's ready to go. So when you cruise, I'll get straight in there because usually I play at 12:30, but it's 1:30 now.
Yeah.
But and the reason I play in the middle of the day at the moment is because there's a lot of people online.
Oh yeah.
Where if you try, mid-afternoon or mid-morning, there's not really many people on. So you want more matches because it's better for
stats.
Yeah, or not statistically, it's the feed is better, so it's not laggy.
Oh,
when you're playing something with good internet. Otherwise, it's trying to find someone in like Germany or something.
Bro, I don't know nothing about computer games anymore.
Yeah, I'm a nerd.
All right then, brother. Thank you so much.
Thank you, lad. Really appreciate it. And
yeah,
keep going with this, man. You're gonna kill it.
For sure. Can't wait for yours to come out.
Yeah, you're gonna come on mine.
Yeah, for sure. When you get it hooked up.
Beautiful.
Ask me some deep questions. But
yeah, you're gonna have to have a few beers though. You have to have 2 or 3 when
maybe
you come on. It's called. Well, one of them's going to be called. I know one of them's going to be called 6 and 30. 6 beers in 30 minutes. We'll see how far we get with that.
Yeah, we'll see. All right, brother.
Thanks,
Peace.
lad.
See you, man.